Hey guys, back to another YouTube video. Today it's going to be a flea market video, an update video, and a showing off of some items I used, those materials I bought a couple days ago. So the first things I'll show is the flea market items. Now me and my father went to some flea markets in Jacksonville. One was the B&M and one was the, I don't remember what it was called. And then another one was called Susie Q's, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I didn't really buy much. I bought a few things from each flea market. So I guess the first things I'll show off is the stuff I bought from B&M. Now, I didn't buy much. I mainly buy movies if there's something I haven't seen for a while. So the first movie I bought was Gone in 60 Seconds, starring Nicolas Cage. I haven't seen this movie in a very long time, so I'm glad to get that one back. And one of my favorites, Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade. I used to have the entire collection, but they all got ruined, sadly, by a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, so I'm starting to collect them all again. So I've got this one, the Last Crusade, and I've got the Crystal Skull one. So I still got a few more, and then I got one of my mother's favorite movies, Zathura, or Zathura, however you say it. So those were $3 a piece. If I'm right, yep. So $6 for all of them. That was a good buy. Two of them I'm keeping. That one I'm going to give to my mother. Next, going into another flea market I went to called I don't quite remember what that one was called. I think it was just called Antiquities or something like that. And this is one hell of a find. Y'all better thank my father because he pointed this out in the display case. This is an Arabic World War I era dagger. Now, when I first bought it, when I first got it, I just thought it was a cheap Chinese dagger. But after cleaning it and realizing it's very well made and very old, I contacted one of my military buddies, and he was able to tell me that this thing is real, it is Arabic, and it's World War I era. It's very difficult to date these because reading Arabic symbols is not an easy task. You have to find somebody that knows what they're reading. And there are several symbols on this thing indicating maybe on who made it. The main symbol is this flower symbol. And when I first got it, it didn't look like this. The brass was pitted. I mean, the silver or pewter, it's hard to tell which, was very tarnished. It needed to be cleaned up, so I took some light steel wool and just kept scrubbing it very gently, as if not to rub off the engraving. And this thing was well worth what I bought it for. I mean, I think if I can recall, I paid $12 for this thing. $12! And I'm definitely going to be keeping this and putting this in my collection. And if it turns out to be made out of real silver, this is going in my safe, for that matter. And like I said, the lady wanted 15, and I put on my little poker face and said, hey, would you take 10? And she went to her boss, and the boss said he'll take 12, which I paid it. So hopefully I'll be able to find out what this is valued at, because these go for a range of prices. And of course, let me just show you all the engraving real quick. That is just beautiful. Even down to the little area. The back side is sadly is a little bit pitted, which I'm not really going to complain about. Now, of course, the main thing, this little ring right here, I put that on there because originally this would have had a ring so they could attach it to their sides or belts. And what my military friend told me is what most likely happened is during World War I, where a lot of fighting occurred in the Middle East, he thinks what probably happened is an American soldier took this as a war prize off a soldier and brought it home, and then years later somehow it ended up at a flea market. So thank you very much, man, for giving me all the information. He told me to leave his name out of the video, so that's why I'm going to honor that. So the one moment y'all been waiting for, the blade. That is in perfect shape. Now, when I first got this, it wasn't in this good a shape. The blade had a little bit of surface rust, and it had a little bit of pitting and staining on the metal. After lightly hand polishing it and everything, all that came out, and it's got these nice half moon carvings in the blade. Just look at that handle. I mean, that is so pretty. And he said this might be made out of real silver, but I personally think it's probably pewter. I don't know. I'll test it with an acid kit to see if it's silver or not. So this is the best find of the day. And that's going to go in my collection. No one's going to buy this from me. This is going to go in my collection. Thank you very much, man. I will be posting this on Facebook to ask around, seeing what this is worth and what it has sold for. I don't know. So that's my favorite find of the day. Next, going into the last flea market, which would have been Susie Q's, I bought a strange item that I don't normally buy, but I know I can make some good knife handles out of it. This is either a rhino or a buffalo horn. I don't quite remember which one. Anyway, I saw this and I'm like, well, I can make some good knife handles out of this. So what I'm going to do is chop it up into little squares, and I'll use them on knives like this or stuff like that, or on my own knives for that matter. And it was $5. You can't really beat that. So, and it is brittle. There's holes in it indicating this has been dropped once or twice. So I'm going to take this, chop it up, and use it into knife handles. $5, you can't really beat that. Anyway. Okay, next is on some other items my father gave me in the time period. He gave me when I got home from the Queen. I forgot about this one. This is a U.S. Camillus military hawkbill. I've already cleaned the blade and polished this up. This is going to my personal collection. Thank you very much, Dad. He bought this for me because I told him I was looking for one of these, and I'm looking for two of these actually. This one, which has the Bakelite handles, and then I'm looking for one that had the all-metal handles, which would have been issued to the Army back in the day. So that's staying in my collection. Next, my father gave me some camp knives, and here's a Girl Scout knife, Girl Scouts of America, that I polished up and cleaned up. It was in horrible shape when I got it. Made by Cutmaster, so that's going in my collection. Next is a, how do you say it? Ulster Boy Scout knife. This one I'm still in the process of cleaning. I'll be cleaning this one up shortly and putting it in my collection. And next is a Cub Scout knife made by Colonial. Well, originally it had an Imperial blade, but the blade was badly busted, so I took it out and put a new blade in it. This one, once again, is in the process of being cleaned. I haven't had the time to do it. Hopefully I'll have it done tomorrow. So y'all better thank my father, because he gave this to me and then gave this one to me. This is a Camper Imperial made in Imperial Ireland that I cleaned up. In very good shape. The blade was rusted and pitted. It looks a lot better now. All the tools are oiled, polished, and sharpened. So that's going to go in my collection. And I love these little bales. These are really good for display. So that's a gift from my father. Next is an item I bought at the pawn shop a couple days ago. I did a Facebook post about this. This is a fruit knife. I mean, I'm not very happy with the way, how much I paid for it, but I do kind of like it. I'm not going to sell it anyway, so I'm perfectly fine. I paid $12 for this large fruit knife made by Right Edge. Yeah, Right Edge Company, which is a cheap company out of China. And the reason I bought this fruit knife is because, very simple. Here's the fruit knife I bought at the gun show a long time ago. As you can see, this one's a lot bigger. That's the reason I bought this. And $12, you can't really beat that. But it's $8 new. So I paid a little too much, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm going to keep this in my collection anyway. So it's not like that's really a bad burn. If I would have paid $20 for this, I would have been severely ticked off. But you can't complain. I like it, and it is sharp as a razor. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I'm a little tired. It's been a busy day. So there's that one. And then last but not least is two other items I bought at the flea markets. Well, one item I did is this straight razor I bought at a flea market a couple days ago, and I just forgot to mention it. Originally, this had a busted end, so I took the end and shaved it down with a file and fixed it all up. And this one I'm going to be posting for sale. So I won't be saying how much I paid for this, so that way you won't know. So I'll happily sell this to you at the right price. And it's got not the original, but a box that a straight razor would go in. So that one I'm going to be selling. This one I'm going to be keeping because it has the original full-length blade. As y'all may remember, I got this in a bundle of stuff that I purchased. and it looks a heck of a lot better than it did. I fully cleaned it up, and now it looks brand new, and it is sharp as a razor. Well, it is a razor, LOL. What I did is very simple. I filed down the pins and pushed them out so I can preserve these Bakelite handles. And I took a piece of plastic and shaped the washer on the bottom, which is what a lot of these razors would have had. Let me show you as an example since I've got one here already. See, in this razor, it has a plastic washer. So I did the same thing on this one. All I did was make that plastic washer and then put new pins in it. I fully cleaned the blade, and this one I'm going to keep because it's got the full length blade. And it has a German case on it, and I love this red velvet color. So this I'm going to keep in my collection. This one back in its box. Excuse me. Alright, next is some knives that I've made using the materials that I got a couple days ago in that large tote. The first material I'll show is my ball peen hammer. Now you may think this is not a knife. What I did is I took those metal head shears that had metal handles and actually used the handles on my ball peen because I use these hammers a lot. For instance, when I'm peening pins together on knives, this is what I use. So I used the handles and shaped this tube a little bit and pinned it on the other side, so now it's got a good solid handle. There is another one, but I can't remember where I placed it. So this one I'm gonna keep because this thing is awesome. This handle's not come off since then, and I have used this quite a bit. So I've never had the head fall off. So that goes to hold on a minute. There. Sorry about that. My cat needed it in the laundry room because that's where her litter box is. Anyway, that goes to show what you can recycle out of a head shear handle. Now, if I have the other one, I'll show it off in the next video. So that's one item. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. This is another item I forgot in that bundle of stuff that I purchased. This is a little billy club, but when you twist it, it has a built-in ice pick. Those who can tell me how old this is, please let me know. This is going to be staying in my collection. Next is another knife I did today, actually. This is a knife I recycled that aluminum, what was it? That sheet of aluminum. So this thing has aluminum handles. Still got to smooth it out a little bit. But it's turning out really great. It's still a little rough because I'm not done with it. I got to do a lot of hand sanding and polishing. But that's turning out really well, and it's really smooth. So that's gonna be done really soon. Next is this is an update and using the material as well. I used one of the head shear handles and put a metal collar on it, and since this cleaver blade didn't really have a good handle the previous time, so I just put a new handle on it. Now it actually looks a lot better and has some good weight to it. So this one I'm going to be selling off to anybody who wants it. It's good for chopping small vegetables and meat, and it's got a very good comfortable handle. So this one I'm going to be selling off to whoever wants it. And then next, next is another weapon I made using another materials I bought a couple days ago. Was this medieval axe I made. I took a giant hedge clipper handle and sliced it in half and put a saw blade and made a blade. Now you can see it's a little tilted. That happened on accident when I was peening them, but it's still solid, it's not moving, and it is sharp as a razor. And actually when you throw it, since this head is bent up a little bit, it actually sticks in really easily. So this one I'm going to be selling off to whoever wants it. Next is on the rusted machete that I did. And that knife I'm actually already done with. I burnt the handle black to give it more of an old rustic look since the blade's still pitted, because it was pitted when I did it. So I already charred the handle black and stained it. Looks a heck of a lot better, and it is sharp as a razor. And I already took one of the other pieces of that machete and made this little bone-handled knife with a copper guard right here and a piece of leather help holding the handle together. Sort of like a Viking's axe. And it looks really good with that pitted look, so this one's going to be put for sale as well. I'm sorry for the glare, if y'all could see that. That's about it. Next is a couple of new knives that I made recently. first is this all-metal dagger I designed. Now, as y'all may remember, I did an unboxing video a while back, unboxing a broken Gerber that had a broken guard, and my friend said that if I could get the handle off of one piece, I could keep it and do whatever I want with it, so I did. And I made this guard out of aluminum, like the handle, and I made the blade out of an old file. And it is sharp as a razor. This is basically the ultimate combat dagger. I might sell this, but for the right price. This thing took me a long time to make. I had to drill into the handle to help fit the new tang. So if anyone wants this, it's going to be pricey. I'm not going to lie. I won't tell you the price in the video, but if you are interested and you leave me a comment asking, I will tell you the price of this thing. And it is sharp. Next is a wrench knife I'd made. And as you can see, has a very wicked looking blade. And it's obviously made out of a saw blade. And what I did is I put 2 holes in it and hot peened these nails on it and sharpened it. It is very sharp, and used the wrench as a handle. And this part, you can actually grip it like this, or you can change it like this, like a karambit. So that's a good little one. And last but not least is this deer antler one I designed. Excuse me. And I took 3 different pieces of deer antler and just mushed them all together and sanded them to shape and oiled them. So that one's going to be put for sale as well. Sorry, it's late. Alright. That's all the stuff I've got to show. If you're interested in buying any of those knives, happily hit me up in the comments. And if I had to pick my favorite item of all this stuff, it would definitely be the dagger, because I've always wanted one of these Arabic daggers that was real. I had one a while back, but later on found out it was a fake, because what a lot of the fake ones do is they take a metal shell and wrap it around a piece of wood to make it look like solid metal. That really made me unhappy. But what I was able to find out through my friend is he sent me details of what to look at. And this thing is actual solid. It's solid casted right on the piece of metal. I mean, right on the tang. So this is definitely my favorite knife. And it's going to go great in my collection. I'm never going to sell this. It'll go great in my military collection as well. Because if this is World War I era, then it's going to go into my military collection. So I guess, as always, stay sharp.